Hello, and welcome back to Health and Wealth. I'm Ana Ramos, and I'm really glad you're here. Today's conversation is for anyone who has felt the pull towards freedom and then found themselves standing in the unfamiliar space that follows. We talk a lot about leaving environments that no longer fit us, leaving that corporate path, that predictability, but at the same time, leaving that identity that once made sense. What we talk about less is what happens afterwards, the moment when freedom feels expansive and unsettling at the same time, when certainty falls away before anything new has taken its place. My guest today, Patricia Ramirez, is living inside that moment. She spent years building a successful career inside large institutions, law, finance, and global corporations, and then made the decision to step away. Not because she failed, but because the framework she was living inside no longer aligned. What followed was not clarity or relief. It was actually uncertainty, financial questions, a shift in relationships, a loss of external validation, and the necessity of rebuilding rhythm, confidence, and identity in real time. What makes this conversation honest is that Patricia does not speak from resolution. She speaks from experience, from the middle, from a place where freedom still requires courage, structure, and daily choice. This episode is about what it means to leave the box and what it actually takes to build a life that can hold that freedom. So, take a breath, settle in, and let us begin to talk about the structure of freedom. Patricia, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming, and it's so good. One of the beautiful things about doing this podcast here, I have met the most amazing people here in Mexico City, and you're no exception to that. And I want to first and foremost say, welcome. Thank you for taking my call and for meeting with each other, and but more than anything, welcome to Health and Wealth, to this podcast.
I'm super honored to be here. I was so nervous because it's the first time I do things like this, and I feel truly honored to be talking to you in this place. Thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful. And this is a very easy format. We're having a conversation. The listeners are listening. And the other day, one of my clients actually gave me the best compliment, and she is in radio, and she's been a radio host forever and ever, and like 25 years or so. And she says to me, she goes, Anna, you got to continue doing this podcast. They're like so beautiful. It's such an easy conversation. I feel like I'm sitting on the couch with my best friend and having a conversation. So make yourself comfortable. I know this is the first time you're doing this. So just take a breath and just breathe through it. And it's me, and we're just having a conversation. Right. So, but I think you have such a beautiful story to share. And, this is an authentic podcast. This is about authenticity. This is about the things that we go through as human beings, as we live our life, as we live our journey. And as I like to say, as we transform our vision of wealth along this journey.
I love it. I love it. Let's do it.
I love it. So let us kind of warm up the conversation with letting people know a little bit about you. And one of the things that I found the most intriguing is that, when we're talking, you're like, yeah, I'm an attorney. I've learned law by trade. And I'm like, you did what? So walk us a little bit through like your younger career life, right? Your education, and then a little bit of your transition, because we're going to pick up from there.
All right. So, I studied law. And the first thing when I started going to school, it was like romanticizing all the attorney and all the helping people thing. And then I come to realize, because in Mexico, the law system is really complicated. And it just came to me that it wasn't as cool as I just thought about it while I was at school practicing and doing my homework. And so then I decided I want a career switch. And then I entered the corporate world as an assistant in American Express. And I grew myself with different abilities and different projects. And I went through different stages in my career there until I became the owner of a corporate portfolio. Okay. And then I started growing accounts and meeting many interesting people. Some of my best friends, I met them there. And we had this amazing stories, like our lives were at the company. I mean, we lived there every day, around 12 hours, and we just grew there. And I was like super young, and just this morning I was remembering that I was such a different person back then, with different stories and different ideas of what success is. And then, well, my career started developing in corporate, and then I entered one of the largest banks in Mexico, which is BBVA. And my career just went on there, like it was so fast, and growth just came by, and I started meeting this very important people, and I had the chance to be in important forums, and to my voice was heard, and I was someone, and that was amazing. And then I went to Uber, working with the most amazing leader I've ever had, and then pandemic hit, so we were all taken by surprise. I mean, it was very different how the corporate world reacted to that kind of things going on. And Uber was one of the most impacted enterprises. So I was there only a year, and then I went back to BBVA because I had this amazing chance to go back. And again, my boss was heard, and I had a place there, and I had a title, and I was surrounded by the most amazing people, and I built friendships, and I met some important people that are still in my life right now. But then it didn't feel right, because I was aiming for something, I don't know if I call it real. I don't know if the word is real, but it didn't feel like honest. It didn't feel something that I wanted to continue doing. So it just started making some noise in my head. And while I started struggling with that, I mean, everyone could notice that. I was not myself. I was not like as excited as I was in the beginning. I was not being there present, and I didn't want to be there. So finally, I got off the bank on January 2025. And the day I received my check, I was so relieved. I was not scared. I was not sad even. I was relieved, because I knew that that was no longer my place.
It's interesting because, the previous guest that we had, that I had a conversation with, we actually talk more about the architecture of success, right? And we compare it to athletes and things like that. And it's interesting, in your conversation, you said that your definition of success began to switch, right? Tell us a little bit about what was your definition of success back then, and what did it switch to?
So yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you're in a corporate world, the success means climbing the corporate ladder, becoming this great director, or being in the C-suite, or talking to someone that's really important, or maybe getting this recognition, this award for being this great leader. And I mean, that's great. It's amazing. It is a great feeling. But as I started growing, I discovered that my definition of success wasn't entirely related to that. It was more about having purpose on what I do on my daily basis, about helping, really, about maybe finding some answers through my effort, and exploring, and being myself, being more true to myself.
I think that your definition, if I hear you correctly, I think that your definition of success switched. At some point, it switched from being this titles, accolades, recognition, what you're supposed to live according to corporate America, according to what definition of success is, to becoming a little bit more aligned with your soul and what feels right for you, what feels good for you.
Yeah.
But that switch is hard, because you and I have lived, I swear to God, where our lives have been almost parallel, in terms of, I worked for American Express, and I worked for a bank, and I've never disclosed this in like to the big world, but I'm going to tell you one part. When I left the bank, my boss literally came and threw a check at me. And he literally threw it down the corporate, down the table, the board table, and he goes, "Here you go, little princess. I wish I made paychecks like those." And it was like a bucket of cold water. He was the one person that I admired, and I did career switches for. And that was just a reaffirmation of what was next in my life. And actually my little brother made a joke, because he got me like a little plaque that says "Little Princess" in it, So it was only my family who I had shared that with. Now I'm sharing it to the public. Thanks. Because I think that through this podcast, I've actually learned to just just share what I've been through. And I think that this is what this podcast has become, is people sharing through it. So now you realize that your career is no longer titles, promotions, recognition. What made you step away from it? I mean, I know the pandemic changed a lot of people's lives, but you ended up going back to banking.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I don't belong here anymore. Like it's almost like an out of body experience, right? You're like, what is this place? I don't belong here anymore.
So the last day at the bank, when I stepped out of the door for the last time, I felt as relieved myself, and I knew that something big was coming. I didn't know what, but I knew that I had many possibilities ahead. So when I told my mom and my brother and my friends, they went like, all right, so what are you planning on doing? When are you coming back to work? Are you gonna start looking for something different? What are you doing? This pressure and this social and family pressure that goes like, so what's next for you? And I said like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I want to be. And it's okay. It's very important.
Those were the key words. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. And I started exploring myself, and I started like, first of all, trusting that I'm capable enough with or without a title. And the friends that I have around me and my family, and they were so supportive. And they started like, all right, so if you don't know right now what to do, it's okay. So let's just walk together. And I met this fabulous woman who trusted me, and my first consulting job was with her. One of my best friends, she introduced me to her, and we started talking, and we just clicked, and it made total sense to her, and she was like, yeah, let's start working together. So a month since I left the bank, I started working with her in my first consulting job as an independent consultant. And it was such an amazing adventure. We had the best time together. We learned so much from each other. Right now, I know there are some things that I could do better, but now I do know it because I did it, because I was there. And she became one of my closest friends. And I mean, those are the experiences that really make you what you are today, and that reaffirm my self-trust and my self-belief. And it helped me understand my capabilities also.
Yes. And capabilities on the good and the bad
Yes,
side
of course,
too, right?
of course.
Well, I'm not going to say bad because bad connotates like it's bad, but I think it's just a learning experience. Right?
It is.
It's part of our process. It's kind of like you said, oh my gosh, if I were to do everything again. And I was just joking with the team today, and I said, because they're like, well, that's a wrap up, and that was great because we did an earlier episode, and I said, and they're like, that's one of the best ones you've done. And I said, okay, can we go back now and re-record like episode 1 through 20 again? you know? But you learn through it, right? And I thought that's part of exactly what you're saying. So now, talk a little bit about, so you're from the bank, you go independent, freedom, right? That's immediately what we think, right? We think it's like, I'm free, I'm freedom. Okay, but walk us through what that freedom feels like. Because I say, you and I were comparing stories, and I said, I don't know what that freedom felt like for you, but for me, I cried for 3 years every single day because I was like, I didn't think I could make it. It was so hard from a mind, body, soul perspective. I had to go through a lawsuit of suing my previous employers because it was a preemptive move. You being an attorney, you understand. So rather than waiting for them to do it, I preempted it and I went through it. And that was going through 3 years of starting the company. So I mean, I don't even know if I could even call it stress at this point, but if I have to go through it all over again, I know that I will approach it differently with the lessons learned. But talk about what that freedom felt like, right? The minute you're like, okay, I'm relief, right? But then walk us through the next steps. What happened after that?
So I think freedom, it's a very strong word, and we take it so lightly because freedom, it's not staying in bed until 11 a.m. or doing nothing or just going to a park or just it entails so many things, and it's about actually being responsible for who you are and what do you want to do, and being aware of all the possibilities you have ahead. And it also entails saying no to some of those possibilities and saying yes, taking the risk, a lot of self-awareness. And so when I became really aware of my freedom, it was overwhelming. I didn't know what to do. I wasn't crying.
What do you mean by overwhelming? Like, what do you mean? How did that manifest in yourself, in your nervous system, in your day to day?
Yeah, I was like, all right, so what do I want to do? I can do anything. What's anything? What does anything looks like in my life? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to just go away? Do I want to reset everything? Do I want to still talk to the same people? Yes. There were so many questions going on. And I think that the most beautiful part of this is that it helps you understand where are you standing, like the whole picture of where are you standing. What do you have? What do you don't want to have? And I remember that one day I was talking to a friend, an Italian friend of mine, and he was like, so if you're like actually free right now, why don't you go and live in Europe for some months and then you can go figure out
the Dolce Vita.
And then I left.
Yeah.
And I was in Italy for 3 months, just, yeah, il dolce far niente, like doing absolutely nothing and just enjoying doing nothing and meeting the most amazing people that were like in the same vibe that I was, because they were all maybe running away from something, maybe running away from routine, from family, from jobs, from heartbreak. And we connected and we built this amazing community where we all were looking for our true selves and our meaning of being here. I learned Italian and I fell in love and I had heartbreaks and many things. And that experience really opened my mind to the possibility of not having a title, of not having recognition, of, you know what success? Success is waking up in the morning and knowing that you can be anywhere, but you want to be there.
Yes.
So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anything you don't want to. It's like, I'm here, this is who I am, and I'm super comfortable with this.
I think there's like, you've said it so beautifully. And, you know, a little bit back, you also talk about freedom produces this, but it also brings responsibility.
Yeah.
Right? So talk a little bit about what responsibility is like now that you're free, quote unquote, from the corporate world, right? But what does that freedom bring with it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I can do what I want when I want. And I'm like, yeah, you can choose when out of the 24 hours, you actually get to choose who you're going to serve, what you're going to do, what you like.
Yeah.
You don't, the perception and reality are two different things, right? But I think that we all have to go through that. So what does freedom look like for you today where you are doing consulting? And then I have another very important question for you.
All right. So freedom, it's doing everything. You are the
You're
CEO.
Free to do everything. You're free to do everything.
You're free to be all the employees of your enterprise.
Exactly.
So you have to do everything. You can't go to anyone just asking like, you have to build this deck or you have to do this analysis. You have to do everything. And it means growth, because maybe there are some things that you know how to do, but then you haven't done it for ages. Yes. And you forgot how to do it. And so you have to go back to basics and understand that maybe you used to do something, but that's not what you're doing now. You have to like regroup and start building from scratch. And it's amazing. It's painful. And everyone goes like, oh, you're so brave for doing this. Well, yeah. And even if I wasn't brave, there was no other way.
Right.
I mean,
that was your choice. No, it's not that there was no other choice. That was your choice.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I could go back to corporate. I could have go and ask for another employment elsewhere, but I didn't want to do that because I really felt that I had so much to do, and it doesn't mean it's wrong for those who are in the corporate world. I mean, that's amazing, and it's a great life. It's a great life. It's full of perks, and it was a great period of my life. But right now, I'm experiencing so many things that I hadn't had the chance before. I've met some great people that I couldn't even imagine talking to them if I was in corporate, and understand so many different industries and had the chance to challenge myself and understand what I'm doing wrong also from my mistakes. And it's hard. It's hard because in corporate, whenever you're wrong and you own your mistake, everyone goes like, you are the one that's wrong. But when you're alone, when you're in this freedom, in this so-called freedom, if you're wrong, you go back to your apartment and you go like, oh my God, was I right? And there's a silence, and there's a silence, and you don't know how to, you know what to do.
Yes. And, it's interesting because, you're in corporate America and I was there and, vice president, senior vice president, you hear all these titles and promotions and recognition, right? And it kind of perks you up a little, right?
Yeah, of
You're like,
course.
oof, that feels great, right? That's no longer there when you're independent. What do you create to measure yourself, to that at a girl, right? Like to give yourself a pat in the back and like, look at what I accomplished. Like, what measuring tools do you put? Because it's part of success, right? We got to be able to have our goals and our measures and check we've done that. What do you put in your life, both on the personal side and the professional side, in order to create these levels of measurement?
So I'm building them. I'm building as we speak.
I still keep building them.
Work in progress.
My poor team, by the way.
Yeah. So, it's funny because you said like in the personal and the professional life, right now I don't feel they are divided. Right now I feel like I'm professional and personal in every project and every conversation I have. So I think right now what's my I don't know, the way that I know that I'm succeeding, it's that I feel true to myself.
I think that's, wow.
Like it doesn't feel wrong.
Yeah.
It feels like it's aligned to what I believe and what I'm aiming to. That's
your value system.
Yeah.
Whatever is your value system.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that because, I still have a lot of friends that are in the corporate world, right? And they're like, you never take a break. You're always like working. And to me, it doesn't feel like work. To me, it's kind of like, okay, if I want to take the afternoon to go have a coffee with someone, I go and I do that. But then when I come back, I know I have to get all this stuff done. Or I know that before the day ends, I have to get this done. And if I don't, okay, I'm going to get up early and I'm going to do it. So yeah, the freedom to choose what times we're going to work, but we work all the time. But to me, there is no, here's your professional life and your corporate life, or, your business, and here's you personally, Anna.
You're 9 to 5, right? There's no longer 9 to 5.
There is no 9 to 5, but I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, it doesn't bother me at all. So how did that switch work for you? Because I never had the switch in corporate America, by the way.
Right.
I never had that switch. So I guess to me, it was just a continuation of it. What was it like for you? And then did you have to make a switch? Did you not have to make a switch?
I'm not really sure that I'm actually aware of that switch. It's just like, if I have to do something, I just go do it. It doesn't matter if it's early or late or it's after 5. It just like feels natural. But while I was at corporate, I had a couple of friends that are entrepreneurs. One of them is the one that introduced me to the other. And they were working like all the time. And I was like, why do you work all the time? Why don't you like take a break or, like go live your life?
Yeah.
I mean, you're the owner of your company. You can do that. And they were like, no, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You have like to keep on working like 24/7. And now I understand them. Now I understand that, yes, of course, you can just like switch off and like, yeah, until tomorrow. No, you can't. Yeah. You have to keep on doing things. And right now I'm a one-person enterprise. So it's easy for me like to manage my times. And I do have the freedom to say, all right, so I want to work today from, I don't know, maybe 8 a.m. until 2, and then I will take a break, and I can do that. But I'm totally aware that when it comes, when I have like growth, when I start growing, it will become like more difficult to have this spare times and to have this separation of my resting time, or however you want to call it, because I will be being responsible for other people. That's also hard. And
it's a tough one.
Yeah,
it's a tough one.
I just think, and I'm such like to oh.
The mic.
The mic.
The hidden mic.
Yeah. And so yeah, it's difficult, but it's exciting. I don't feel like I'm in fear. I'm excited for what's coming in and what's building.
And I'll tell you from someone who has a few more years in being independent, right? Freedom. That too changes, right? And yes, you do have responsibility, but it's also, I think that the lessons that we learn, we tend to pass them on. Like, and I recently had a conversation with a team because, one of the things that I wanted to do, because I said, I've been for so many years working in corporate America and not a 9 to 5. I mean, sometimes it was 12 o'clock and I was at the office to a point where security is like, ma'am.
It's time for you to leave.
Like, it's time for you to leave. Would you like me to walk into your car? I'm like, oh, okay, I got it, right? Not that that's a healthy way of being, just so you know. But it's, one of the things that I did when I built Amita, right, and it's become what it is today because it started with Amita Wealth, and then we added business management, lifestyle, and then, Amita World to kind of wrap up the whole concept. And one of the things that I wanted to do was build it so that, because I always love to travel. I come from the world of traveling and hospitality, and to me, it's so beautiful to immerse yourself, not just travel to go see, but immerse yourself in cultures. That's why I'm so grateful that my condo took so long in Miami, like a year late, but I'm like the most grateful person because I truly got a chance not to just live here, but immerse myself in the culture. And I'm so in love with it that I'm like, Miami, I think your years are counted.
Yeah.
I want to come back to Mexico City and like live here full time, But what I wanted to do building the company is build it so that I could hire people that would have the same love and passion that I have for what they do and I don't want to be babysitting. I don't want to be measuring time. So I built her so that it would be virtual, right? So that I could work from anywhere, but yet maintain the human component. So I still do my little events and I still do those little things that keeps me close to the people that have allowed me to get here to this point because I'm grateful to them, right? And so I had a conversation with the team because they are from around the world, and I wanted that. I wanted to have the creme de la creme. I didn't want to have an office where people feel like I have to go 9 to 5 and all that stuff. I wanted to build it with people who are responsible, who want that level of freedom, but also understand the responsibility that comes with it, right? And here's how the conversation went. It's a holiday in X part of the X part of the world, and I'm sure that we all want, right? We all want a day off. And I took time to kind of breathe in and settle in. I said, what are they trying to tell me, right? Because my whole thing is, I don't care when you work, how many hours you work, from where you work, as long as the work gets done. And we're very, very big in saying, like this year, we were very intentional in here's our year. What are the things that we want to accomplish? Where we want to be at the end of the year? What do we need to do on a quarterly basis? And we literally took a whole week, which was kind of like unheard of, right? In my world of corporate America. And we went area by area and really talk about what we wanted it to be like, right? And then here we build this beautiful vision at the end of the year, where we want to be, what do we want to accomplish. And and so everybody knows what they need to do, and we do a check-in every week, but once a quarter, we check in, how are we doing according to our goals, right? And the things that we set ourselves to accomplish. And when I read this message, I was like, okay, Anna, take a deep breath, settle in. And it's funny because I say that in the podcast, settle in. And what are they really saying? And this morning on my way here, I actually wrote and I said, dear team, I said, my philosophy is you're welcome to work wherever you want to work, when you want to work. I said, if you guys want me to actually cancel our check-in meeting, more than happy to, just let me know individually. And I said, I created this company around the concept of freedom. But with freedom comes responsibility. So as long as your work gets done, if you need the time off, because I really believe in taking time to restore ourselves, taking time to connect with ourselves. And one of the things I am going to give you that little advice, don't ever let it go away. Always take time to build it. Like build in your calendar intentionally, this is me time.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is the one thing that I've learned is like, I got to take care of me first. And if I can take care of me, I can take care of the people I serve, the people that I share the work with, I share the company with. But that self-care is the number one part.
Yeah. I mean, and I love it because freedom also gives you the chance to build the kind of company or the kind of leader you want to be or the kind of culture you want to live in. And this is what you're building. It's amazing because very few enterprises in the world can actually afford to build that culture from scratch. And something that it's very important for me is I want to work with people that are aligned to my values,
Yes.
to my purpose, to my way of living, to my curiosity. I don't want to have people working with me that they don't want to work with me because I don't want I have to go.
Yes.
I want to go because it makes sense, because it gives me purpose, because, and freedom also gives you the chance to build from zero. Mm-hmm. And it's a big responsibility. But
Huge.
But it's also
huge. Because as I'm writing that message, I'm like, okay, Anna, think how you
would feel,
if you get this message. And honestly, I know where it came. I know what the space that it came from is that we've been pushing a lot. And I know that, and even while they're traveling, they're working, right? And again, it's the way the company was built. I don't care where you are. But I know that what they were asking for was permission to take a rest. And I'm like, you don't need my permission. If you feel that you need that time and that space, take it.
Yeah.
Right? And I took it as a bigger opportunity to really reinforce the message of what this company is all about.
Yeah, and I think also success is having the ability to do that without panicking and without going like, what's going to happen if they don't work, if they are here, if they are not, if the success, it's also letting go of control.
Yes.
So that's one way of measuring it.
Which corporate America is all about.
No,
control.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's all about control.
Yeah. I mean, success comes from control. So it's different, and it's challenging because when all your life you've been working in corporate America, and then you go and live your freedom, the first instinct is go and control everything around you. And I'm still struggling with that. I still try to control everything around me, and then I just go and find out that I can't control anything but myself.
Yeah.
And I'm a one-person enterprise. And so it's been a great adventure. I feel really grateful to be living this moment with all what entails. But yeah, it's been amazing.
It sounds like a beautiful process, not easy.
No.
Right? But I can tell you, coming 13 years later after going independent, right? Like that freedom, that moment of freedom, I am finally able to take a breath, and I'm finally able to say, wow, okay, I can take a vacation, right? But truly a vacation, because I've gone on vacation, but it's like you're always on, you're always connected. And I said, my ultimate goal is to get to a point that I can disconnect for 2 weeks and everything keeps running, and I come back and I just continue, right?
Measure of success.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. What would you say were some of the biggest lessons? So let's say somebody is right now thinking about, wow, everything I'm hearing, it's me, right? So somebody's going through this. What is some of the advice you can give them about the process? Because everything is about the process, right? Is the process of freedom.
Yeah.
Is the process before and the process afterwards, right? What can you tell them about this process, this process of identification, this process of, wow, this is my values, and I no longer feel that I'm in a space where my values align, right?
Right.
And by the way, that's with everything. That's not just career. That's health. We have the 5 pillars, right?
Yeah.
Health, career, finances, relationships, personal growth. It's all that, right? So what advice, based on what you've lived through, as somebody is saying this to themselves, what advice would you give them?
Oh my God. I don't know if I'm the right person to do that.
Yes, you are.
Because
Yes, you are. Because everything you've gone through, everything that you're saying today, somebody needs to listen.
all right, so I
Or
would
somebody
say,
needs to hear it. I'm going to say, not listen, hear it.
all right, so thank you for that. The first of all, I would say it would be like, take the leap. It's okay. I mean, not everything is that important. So make a plan. Financial plan is important.
Call me. I'm kidding.
So yeah, first of all, it's take the leap.
Yes.
Because you won't know if you're even capable of doing it until you do it. It's okay. It's okay. It's not a free fall. You will put yourself back together, and you will build from whatever you want to build, and it's okay. Take the chance. The second one is there will be many voices around you saying, holding you back to not trusting your instinct and your gut and not trusting yourself.
When you say voices, what type of voices?
Voices around you, voices of family and friends, and maybe I don't know, a husband or wife or whatever. There will be people saying, "Why would you want to give up on this when you're doing great? I mean, you have everything under control. Why do you want to lose that control?" Well, because in losing that control comes freedom and comes growth. And the third one is have fun on the process. Enjoy every mile of it. It will be hard, yeah. There will be times that you don't know if you belong or if you don't. There will be times that you don't know if you made the right choice, and you will feel overwhelmed and angry, and you will be losing yourself in the process. Give yourself in and have fun enjoying every part of it, because whenever you do that and you understand that it's temporary, and there will come time that you will say, I'm so glad I did it, then you will go and pat yourself and say, like, I'm so brave for doing this. So yeah, that would be it.
I think that's beautiful. All right, we get to the good stuff now.
All right.
Ready? Biohacks. Not in the medical field side,
Right.
Okay? But biohacks that we do or that you've done that have helped you get through good times, bad times, moments of questioning yourself. Give us something that you do. I mean, I can give you some of the ones we've heard so far. It's like everything is like I focus on the things, not the things that I can't do, but the things that I've been able to do. This too shall pass, right? Like take a deep breath, and this too shall pass. And one of the things that I share in one of the episodes that I haven't done it yet, but I wanted to get 2 tattoos, love and light, and that's how I sign all my emails.
Right.
And that's a reminder to me. Not to anyone else. It's a reminder to me to always be present, and no matter what, to always give from a space of love and always share light, because you never know what people are going through at that moment, or when they read that, you don't know what they're going through. So give us a biohack for you.
So I think one of the most important things that kept me going was sport. And not like going by myself, but the community I'm into when I go train, when I go running with my friends, or when I go to the mountain or whatever. It gives you space to be someone different. Because when you're training, you don't have to think of a project. You don't have to be like thinking in like the professional part of yourself. You just have to let go and trust your capabilities, your physical capabilities. And it helps you unwind a lot. And the second one is surround yourself with people that trust you, that believe in you, and they're constantly, like pushing you to be the better part of you. A couple of weeks ago, I had this terrible meltdown because it happens.
Yes, of course.
It happens.
Remember? I cried for 3 years every day.
And I was locked in. I didn't want to talk to anyone. And I was just like locked in my place. And one of my closest friends, she just invited me to have lunch. And she told me, like, why are you not telling me? Why are you not trusting that I can help, or I can listen, or I can just be whoever you want me to be there for you? So it's tough. It's tough to be vulnerable. It's tough to face that maybe sometimes you don't have all the answers and you don't know what's going to happen. So maybe it's time, and it's okay to lean back and just ask for help to the people that surround you.
I think that's beautiful. I think your 2 biohacks are so important, and they're life hacks, because I think that, when you train, you learn to push the body, you learn to become assertive because you're like, wow, I can do this. And then surrounding yourself with people who truly believe in you, I think it's like, it gets you through anything. I remember that when I first left everything, I have a friend, and now he's actually coming at the end of my time here in Mexico City, because I do leave, he decides to come. But I remember him, and he's someone who does mergers and acquisitions, huge mergers and acquisitions. But he has become such a beautiful friend and such a beautiful positive aspect in my life. And, one of the things that he said to me, he goes, Anna, don't worry. He goes, I will hire you for any of my companies as CEO. And he goes, and I know that I can go to sleep at night.
Right.
And that was like the most beautiful part. Well, the other part that he says, he goes, would you like me to buy that brokerage firm? And then I can go ahead and put you in charge and go ahead and fire your ex-boss.
Oh my God.
and I was like, oh my gosh, you're too much,
But that's reassuring. That's reassuring.
It's like, that allowed me to breathe, right?
Yeah.
To know that I have this backup side in case nothing fails. And sometimes we need that safety net, right?
Of course.
And we definitely need to have that love and that light from the people around us.
Yeah, but also friends that can come with hard truths.
Yes.
I have a friend that she's always so assertive, but she comes with honest facts, like saying like, all right, so it's perfect and we can romanticize everything, but so what's next? You have to do this, and you can go there, and she keeps pushing me to be the better self, and that's also so necessary. You know who you are. And yeah, I mean, it's very important that although this is a very lonely path, because it is a lonely path, you don't have to be lonely at all.
Yes.
You can surround yourself with people that are rooting for you, and it's so necessary to have that.
Oh, you can always get yourself a little Milou. She's under my seat today. This is the first time she's actually not here sitting the entire time.
Yeah.
That means that she has become comfortable with the place, and she doesn't need mommy. But you can always get yourself a little Milou. You'll never be lonely. Trust me.
Yeah, of course. You can always ask for someone just to hold you.
Yes.
Family, of course. My brother has been like such an important support for me.
I think that's so beautiful, and I'm going to end on conversation there, because I think that we can truly celebrate the people in our lives, because they have been impactful in so many different ways, and to always surround yourself with the people that keep adding to your life, and if we have to say goodbye along the way, we've had an episode about the power of saying goodbye in relationships. We always send them away with gratitude and with love.
Of course.
So
of course, and with grateful for having them in the path or as bridges or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Patricia, thank you so much for joining. And thank you for being brave enough to go ahead and do this for the first time. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
This has been an amazing experience. I hope I can do it again. Thank you so much for opening the Pandora box. And well, I hope we can see each other soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What I am taking with me from this conversation is how much reality there is in this phase of freedom, not as an idea, but as an experience that unfolds over time. Stepping away from familiar structures creates space, but it also surfaces questions that do not immediately have answers. Questions about stability, about identity, about how to measure progress when the old reference points are no longer there. What Patricia brings into this conversation is the honesty of living inside that unfolding, of learning to support herself differently, of using structure not as a rule book, but as a way to care for her energy, her work, and her nervous system while things continue to take shape. There's a quiet strength in allowing clarity to build gradually, in letting rhythm replace urgency, in learning how to trust your own assessment when external validation fades into the background. What becomes clear here is that the freedom and responsibility are not opposing forces. They inform each other. They shape each other, and together they create the conditions for a life that can evolve without collapsing under its own weight. The life you're building does not need to be finished or defined in order to be meaningful. It needs enough structure to support you as you move, and enough flexibility to adjust as you learn more about who you are becoming. Patricia, thank you for sharing this moment of your journey with such openness and care. And to everyone listening, may this conversation offer permission to move forward thoughtfully, to build clarity at your own pace, and to remain in relationship with your process as it continues to unfold. Until next time, this is Health and Wealth.